Hey guys, I hope you're having a fantastic reading week. I have finished The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin, in fact, quite a little while ago now, and I figured we should talk about it. So this here is the beautiful cover for this book. This is the third book in N.K. Jemisin's Broken Earth trilogy, and I really have loved this entire series. It's really rare for me to love an entire trilogy, and this is one of the few ones where I can say honestly that I think every book has been better than the one before it. The premise of the book is interesting in and of itself. The series takes place in a world where people have the power to manipulate the heat of the earth and kind of the way that the earth moves. Nessun, our main character, is a Raga, or an Origin. That's the person with the power to move the earth. And she is incredibly powerful. She escaped the kind of structured world that Origins normally live in, specifically Origins as powerful as her, and left for a more free life. Origins are not well accepted, and so she's been living in hiding until a new 5th season has come to pass. A 5th season is basically a cataclysmic event. Nessun's daughter, Nessun, is a young girl who also has the potential to be even more powerful than her mother. And when the 5th season falls, Nessun has no clue where her daughter is. So in this third book, you find out a lot of things about the origins of the society, of why people don't like Origins, why certain structures and mysterious objects are the way they are. At this point, we're gonna get a little spoilery, so if you have not read the first two, go ahead and look at my reviews. I will pin them in the iCards up above, kind of by my head, and you can go ahead and check out those reviews. I highly suggest you go and read those books. Nessun has kind of destroyed an entire village, granted for a somewhat good cause. The Stone Eaters are going crazy, and Nessun is with Shafa, which is a bad thing in and of itself because we all know he's a guardian. He was her mother's guardian, and even while he seems kind of good, he's also probably some bad seed. We don't know. And I have so much to say about what I loved about this book. First and foremost, this book has stellar character growth. You know, the world building is something that N.K. Jemisin does fantastically in this series, but I think the character growth and the realization of both Nessun and Nessun that their relationship is so much more complicated than it was when they started. So much of their relationship is determined by behaviors and actions that they took when the main goal was just to hide, right? To not be detected. And now that the goal is to survive by any means possible, that's shifted things, but the two will remain connected in the way that the two interact. And I think that that was one of the most fantastic parts of this. You know, N.K. Jemisin doesn't kind of give them all a fresh slate when this 5th season starts, and she really plays with that relationship and has it develop, and 5th season events are blending with pre-5th season events, and on top of the idea that, you know, Nessun's dealing with a daughter who's now basically a grown woman who spent a couple of years without her, she has to deal with the fact that she also didn't treat her daughter particularly kindly, right? She was so concerned with saving her and protecting her that she didn't nurture her very much. And that is, I think, a really stellar examination that Jemisin does. The world building, of course, is fantastic. And there's a lot to be said for some of what she's doing. There's also a really cool, like, I don't know, I want to say bug punk, right? Because part of it reminds me of Cameron Hurley's, like, Mirror Empire in very superficial ways. But there's this very, like, bug punk type tech that's going on that we find out about. We finally find out about what the obelisks do, which is awesome. And we finally have our big confrontation with Father Earth. It's so good. I would say that the big theme in this particular book is self-sacrifice, right? Nessun is still kind of coming to the fact that she sacrificed the community that she was a part of mostly for her own survival. And she has to deal with the consequences of it, which include people not trusting her, which include kind of more complicated relationships with being on the road. And that's a new thing for her to actually have to vocalize. I really enjoyed the way that N.K. Jemisin makes her really face these facts about herself. And of course, we all know what's about to happen with the Stone Eaters. Nessun is dealing with the fact that she can no longer really use her origin powers. When she does, parts of her body are turning to stone. The plot itself is engaging. It is, I would say, slightly slower paced than the previous one. Obelisk Gate, I feel like the action there kind of drums itself up a little bit more. There's certainly not as much of the interesting backstory about Nessun because we've now shifted to her daughter and what is going on there and the parts of Nessun's relationship with Shafa that are kind of reminiscent of Nessun's and the parts that differ very, very greatly. Right, and it's also very much about the loss of innocence. Like, when we leave off, you know, Nessun has just really done some horrible stuff that she never, I think, would have thought she was capable of. And now she's living in the aftermath of that and trying to decide what does it mean for her when she's so dependent on someone, but also has kind of done these horrible, very adult things, frankly, just to survive. You know, the emotional depth in this book is fantastic, and the series as a whole is amazing. I think this was a really great conclusion to that overarching plot. You know, it doesn't have a neat, tidy ending, right? Because this is the kind of situation that's not going to. This kind of apocalyptic world is just going to kind of suck regardless of who kind of comes out on top. But it does give resolution to a lot of the characters. Shafa gets resolution, Hoa gets resolution, I would say Nessun gets some good resolution. Not always pretty, not always clean, but a conclusion that I could live with. I don't know. Basically, I could just sing N.K. Jemisin's praises, but I'm really interested to hear what you have to say about this. It's been out for a hot minute now, so I'm sure you guys have read it. If not, you need to be reading it soon so we can chat. Let me know what you thought of The Stone Sky and of the Broken Earth trilogy in general. Let me know if you think this is gonna go 3 for 3. Is Jemisin gonna hat trick on this bad boy? I hope you guys are having a fantastic reading week. You know the drill. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Bye.